It's interesting, Phil, isn't it? There is a generational split on this. I mean, I was last week using the word duty. He was born to this. It's a duty. He's letting the side down. And I think, actually, probably a significant majority of the over 40s in the country, over 50s in the country feel that.
Okay.
And yet younger people say they should just be happy.
Yeah.
So, and I guess, in a sense, if they are giving up the titles and they are giving up many of the things that go with royalty, in a sense, they've got a chance to go and be happy, haven't they?
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely, and I wish them happiness. I genuinely hope this is the best thing for them. I genuinely hope they can make it work, and who knows, in 4 or 5 years we may look back and say it was a good thing for the monarchy. You never know if it works in some way. It could reboot them, but at the moment I have my doubts. As I say, my one big fear is that something might go wrong with their marriage, and then we're going to be really in trouble because
in a very odd place.
I don't like where this is going.
But we're going to be Harry's going to have massive problems there. So I hope it does work. I think even people who, older people, as you say, look at the Queen's sense of duty and the shift that she's put in for 67 years.
Okay.
They will sympathise and say, well, if you want to go off, good luck, but we don't necessarily feel we ought to pay for it.
And is this the modern day abdication?
It is. It's obviously not quite the same as Edward VIII, because he was never going to be. He was never heir to the throne. He was all, and he's now 6 in line to the throne. So
he's giving that up too, isn't he?
He's way down. No, he's still going to be 6 in line to the throne. Yeah, he's not going to give that up. He'll still be 6 in line. He'll still be the Duke of Sussex, but he'll be on the same sort of status and level as the other 20 or 30 odd dukes in the country. People like the Duke of Devonshire and Duke. He won't have the royal title, so he'll just be a duke.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
But he'll still be 6 in line to the throne. Archie will still be 7th in line to the throne, and they're still there if needed.
Now, they've promised, haven't they, to uphold the values of Her Majesty, and that, I'm guessing, is referring to what kind of commercial arrangements they're about to go into. What do you think would be appropriate? What do you think would be inappropriate?
Well, this is the big question in my mind. Is it going to be? Are they going to have some tacky sponsorships, or are they going to do some charity deal? And while Meghan flashes a Rolex watch or something, and then 2 days later there's an advert for it. So this is going to be the big problem. How are they going to be financially independent? How are they going to make money?
You're broke. You're poor.
Without commercialising and cheapening the monarchy. And it's not clear yet whether they can continue to use the Sussex royal name, whether they're just going to have to change it to Sussex, or whether they can keep the royal. That doesn't seem to have been quite thrashed out yet. But this, I think, is going to be the fundamental problem, and this is why I think they're going to review it after 12 months, because if they feel it's, getting too cheap and too tacky, I think Thomas Markle, her dad, has already made apparently a TV interview, which is going to be shown soon, in which he says rather accurately, she's turning the monarchy into Walmart with a crown on.
What do you mean by that?
And I thought that was quite a good analogy. That is the big danger.
Yeah, well, we had a former Royal Marines officer, an SBS officer, last week saying we cannot have the monarchy privatised.
No.
And I guess that's why the titles, in a sense, have to go. And that's why I don't think the website Royal Sussex can be sustainable for that reason.
I don't like where this is going.
No, I don't. Coming back to the winners and losers, one thing I did want to say before we go, Nigel, is that I think the other big loser in this is Prince William. I feel very, very sorry for him. Right at the heart of this is two brothers who were once very, very close falling out. That was probably the start of the problems.
We do not care.
And now, of course, not only has he lost, a brother to some extent. I mean, I hope they make it up, and I hope they're still in contact. But to all intents and purposes, his brother's going to be living abroad, so he's not going to see much of him. He hasn't got that support. But now there's a hell of a burden on William and Kate, because the Queen is nearly 94, Prince Philip's retired at 98.
Yep. Prince Andrew's out of the picture.
Andrew's out of the picture.
Me personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
Yeah, there's no one
Princess
left.
Anne is 70 this year. Charles and Camilla. So there's a hell of a lot on William and Kate's shoulders. He's always been a bit reluctant to take into his role extremely fully, and in recent years has really upped his game. But now he's going to have to up it even more. And I do feel for him. I think there's a lot on his shoulders.
That's a very good point. Thank you very much indeed. That was Phil Dampier, royal commentator and author of Royally Suited, Harry and Meghan, in their own words, and making a very, very good point that Prince William is pretty much on his own, and the level of responsibilities that he and his wife are going to have to commit to. Well, I wonder. They're going to have to think about it quite carefully.
Really, nigga?
So I want to know, who are the winners? Who are the losers? You've heard my views. You've heard Phil Dampier's views. You tell me who the winners and losers are. 0345 6060 973. This is the Nigel Farage Show. Sunday morning, it's 16 minutes past 10.
This is LBC. Play along with our 10-second teaser. Ready? What is the only number not represented in Roman numerals?
I don't know.
The answer is 0. If you got that right, you must be pretty smart.
Oh! Ew! What the fuck?
So you'll know who to choose for your business accounting, audit and tax affairs. Search Barnes Roaf. Clever accountants for business.
Wow. Trade later life for greater life with McCarthy & Stone's brand new development in Hatfield, Highclere House. To find out more and make the most of your retirement, join us for fizz and canapés and speak to our dedicated team on hand to answer your questions, whether renting, buying or a bit of both. Don't miss out. Make sure to join us on the 21st of January to secure your dream apartment.
And I'm sorry, Matt, I'm sniffling because I think Aurora's fur seems to be bothering me. But they're on a rampage.
I hear you. I hear you, yep.
You're totally disconnected from reality.
Lady C, I have to congratulate you because we haven't spoken on air since you launched the incredible GoFundMe campaign for Thomas Markle, a good man who has been treated so appallingly, not just by his daughter, but also by his son-in-law, Prince Harry. And initially you said a £10,000
You serious?
goal. Oh my goodness, Lady C, you have smashed it. I looked last night, £56,000 you've raised for Thomas Markle. Now, this is really critical to point out. He has medical costs. The family never asked for this. It's something that you did off your own back. But how amazing that we've all been able to show our support to Thomas Markle, a great man who never deserved the treatment from his daughter to trash him on an international scale.
Well, Dan, somebody said on my channel that somebody should do something. And I thought, well, yeah, it's a good idea. Well, I'll do it. I mean, if I wasn't going to do it, who was going to do it? And I feel that Thomas Markle is a King Lear character, and that Meghan is the combination of Goneril and Regan, and let's call her Goneregan, and if it sounds like something transmissible. And
I was wondering what you were saying there for a second.
There's a good reason for it, because really she is toxic. But I didn't do it for her. I did.
Are you serious?
I did it for him.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that because you see, my mother mistreated her mother. And I understand a lot of what Thomas Markle is going through, just because of what happened with my mother and my grandmother. And I mean, you and I both know Thomas Markle, and he's a decent, kind man. And also, Gigi Perot, who was Meghan's drama teacher, is a great friend of mine. And I met her through Elaine. And she said to me, Thomas Markle was the most wonderful, kind, generous. He was.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
Always doing things for the school, and you know, without any question of approbation, reward, anything. He's just a nice man. And my experience of him has been he's a nice man. But I know it through Gigi that he is genuinely a nice man. And so I thought he deserves it. And I thought if I could in some small way, and I didn't expect it to be as successful as it has been. I just thought if I did it and I set it at £10,000 and it's well over 50,000 now. But if I'd set it, I thought I'd set it at 10,000 and, at least it gives people an opportunity to show that they care and that there are decent people in the world and that people do understand that there's room for compassion. I mean, what does Meghan have to forgive her father for? The fact that she set up an interview with Jack Rayner and got and organized it with Jack Rayner, who then approached Samantha.
That doesn't make sense.
And as Thomas Markle has said, she's quite clear she never wanted him at the wedding at all. He's never received an invitation. She told him it was lost in the post. I mean, excuse me, clearly he was set up from the word go. Why? Because he was trying to rescue his reputation. I was told by people at the palace that the late Queen offered not only for Harry and Meghan, her father and her mother. They accepted on behalf of the mother, they refused it on behalf of the father. And everything that I have seen happen and my understanding of Thomas Markle, which will be far more limited than Meghan's,
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
She understood it. She slammed his buttons hard enough. He'd if not croak, he'd certainly be so destroyed by it all that he wouldn't come to the wedding, which is precisely what happened. And as he said to her and to Harry, well, aren't you sorry I'm not dead? Because and that I think was really the objective of the exercise. Yeah. I think he alighted upon the object of the exercise.
Are you serious?
Because Meghan doesn't want her father around. She doesn't want Harry to know her father, because she doesn't want Harry to ever hear from her father the truth about her. But Harry is now seeing the truth about her and told that things are not honky-dory. Harry, the scales have been falling off Harry's eyes. Thank God. At least he
Are you serious?
Can save himself and hopefully the two children. His children, he can hopefully save from really what is a fate worse than death. Because really, to live with somebody like Meghan is really an awful, awful fate. I know what I'm speaking about. I've lived with a Meghan, and it's really, it's like having
Wait for it.
an egg beater in your brain.